afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the policy committee. We'll do a roll call. As soon as I find a pen, I just had. There we go. All right. We'll just go down the list. Commissioner Anderson.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Scott Barnes.
Present.
Okay. Commissioner Haynes.
Present.
Commissioner Hughes. Commissioner Johnston. And Commissioner Steele.
Present.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 in recommendations. I know we can have a discussion, but we'll be able to take votes and bring forth recommendations. Do we have a quorum? This is what I'm asking.
We do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, so just want to share that the Parks Board must vote on the record that the COVID-19 pandemic requires it to hold a telephonic meeting as permitted under the Governor's Executive Order number 16, and that contrary rules are suspended. If anyone would like to propose a motion to this effect, please raise your hand. Commissioner Scott Barnes.
I make a motion.
Say we move to allow the electronic meetings in. I'm sorry, did you second? My connection is horrible.
Yeah, Sharon, I was going to second. Yeah, you come in and out a lot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It is, I don't know what's going on today. It's been bad today.
Freezing up. Sorry.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. We'll just do a roll call vote. Commissioner Anderson.
Approve.
Commissioner Scott Barnes.
Approve.
Commissioner Haynes.
Approve.
Commissioner Hughes, if you've joined. Commissioner Johnston. And Commissioner Steele.
Approved.
Thank you very much. So that motion has passed. Right now, this meeting is just really to discuss any proposed modifications that we want to make to the naming of the Parks Committee. In our last meeting, we did formalize, I believe, the recommendation to remove from section 4 under criteria, I believe, I'm calling that one right, item L. And so I will open the floor to begin any discussion, any recommendations. Hopefully you received all the information. Similar districts and review that information. And if anyone would like to just get us started with anything you've reviewed, any comments you'd like to make, or any proposed changes that you've already thought about.
This is Commissioner Haynes. I'll start, if that's okay, Sharon.
Sure, thank you.
So lots of questions from all the material that Monique and Janet sent us. I think good policies all across. Number one, should we think about having just one city policy for naming buildings, libraries, streets, and parks? So that's just a rhetorical question. I don't know the answer to that. But several of the cities governed all naming via the city council for all city buildings. Secondly, there were several, specifically Maitland and El Paso, that had a paragraph that read, renaming of parks is strongly discouraged. It is recommended that efforts to change a name be subject to the most critical examination so as not to diminish the original justification for the name. So if we're going to do something like this, I think we ought to consider something like that. Several cities had super majorities to rename a park, and we want to consider something like that. One city had a renaming policy only for geographic locations and not for individual names. So that's something for us to consider. One city had the person requesting the name change would bear all of the costs so that the Parks Department would not be burdened with those costs. And then lastly, should we have a only one park renaming consideration per year to lessen the burden on all of us? So those are just thoughts and questions after reviewing all the policies.
Thank you, Commissioner Haynes.
Jeff,
Mr. Anderson.
Jeff, can you read the first paragraph you wrote about? You read. I like that a lot. Maybe we can replace L with that about the criteria of renaming.
Sure. There were Maitland, Florida, and El Paso, and one other city had a paragraph that read, renaming of parks is strongly discouraged. It is recommended that efforts to change the name be subject to the most critical examination so as not to diminish the original justification for the name.
I think that's an excellent item that we should really, if we're going to get, since we've talked about getting rid of L or changing L, is going in that direction.
So I think that's consistent with what was discussed in the previous meeting, right? So we talked about pulling together a larger group that would include someone from the Historical Society, that it wouldn't just be at the will or the whim of the Parks Board, but that we'd get input from other groups. And so I like the language that says it's not just you coming to the board and making the what I would consider less subjective language and be a little bit more specific about what we mean there. Anyone else? Any other thoughts or comments?
I also think it's a good idea on the supermajority for us to consider a more of a, not just it passes by one vote, that there's more votes for a name to be changed. I think we just need to raise the bar on any change, and it's difficult to change. I think. So there needs to be it'll make us be more accountable to make the right decision, and also, again, it's about vetting and make sure we vet it appropriately and that everyone agrees more than just a simple majority. So I like that. I like those 2 points a lot, actually.
And real quickly, let me add this. I think before we approve anything, we should know what the city's policy is on renaming buildings, libraries, streets, and think about having some consistency between city policy and parks policy. So I'd like to see that city policy for us to review.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. I believe Metro Legal, Macy Amos, welcome back, Macy, is on the line, and maybe she can give us some perspective on the city's renaming policy or ordinances.
Yeah, so I don't have that in front of me. I'm still getting caught up, but I can get with the attorney that represents the libraries, and then I'll check the Metro Code to see if there's anything in it that relates to renaming streets, buildings, or any other Metro-owned buildings. So that's something that I can get and then send to Monique and Janet to distribute to you all, if that's okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Gentry, I am, this is Terry Hughes. I am curious about the supermajority, what that might look like. There's something about that I don't know, I feel a little bit uneasy about. We're such a small group. I wonder, I'd like to hear more conversation on how we would define that and why it would be necessary. If we've gone through a deliberate process that we've been talking about.
Commissioner.
Yeah, Terry, I'm the one that read that in another city's policy. I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other about that. It was just an idea to be thrown out. regarding that topic.
Yes, I saw it too. Yes, thank you. I thought I was hearing interest in that, so I wanted to kind of probe it a little bit.
One other quick add-on. Several cities had petition and number of name requirements and notice provision requirements. And I know we have that on the Planning Commission, as I've shared with you all in past meetings. I didn't know if that's something we should consider to get better feedback. No offense to the 18 to 20 people that have responded, but I still don't think we've got a representative sample of feedback from the community.
I agree with that, and I think we would need to be specific and make it very clear that we were having some public conversation. I think those that we've heard from have just learned about it potentially through the grapevine, since we haven't opened anything official up yet. So I think that would be a very important step.
Anyone else would like to add any comments regarding their review of the policies that Director Odom has shared?
I do have one more. I noticed a lot of discussion in those policies about a person, whether a person is living or not. And we talked about that some last week. I made a case for, yes, living people should be able to be considered. And then I heard some concerns from some colleagues. So I did notice that is visited in a number of those policies. I also got the naming policy from Chicago. And I can't remember, I have to look at that one again. But anyway, just wanted to make that point.
So could you just share for others what the ones you reviewed, what was the stance on the living?
Yes. So several were very definitive. It cannot be named. And I read all of them when I first got them, but I don't have them all open in my home office. So, once it's named for someone, it can never be changed. I'm sorry, that's the wrong thing. The living, it could never be named for someone who was living. And then some had a little bit more rigorous process if they wanted to change a name. But I did notice that it seemed like in many of the policies, whether or not someone was living was called out.
Anyone else? We haven't heard from Commissioner Scott Barnes. Do you have anything that you would like to add?
Like being called out. Thank you. I appreciate. I appreciated that some of the cities spelled out process in their policy, and I know we kind of had a lot of conversations in the past about wanting to separate policy and procedure, and I think that. For transparency and just clarity, I think it's really kind of helpful to, just spell out the steps. And in fact, and I can't remember, I got them all laid out here and I can't put my hands on which one it was, but I appreciated that one of the cities, it might've been Charlotte, had spelled out the process for renaming, that the renaming had to follow the same steps as the getting a new name, which I thought was kind of an interesting way to approach that situation. So I think that was some helpful. Thank you. Just take a moment to say thank you to Director Odom for doing all the research. I was the one who asked for it, and it was very helpful and echoed a lot of the things that were brought up in the past. So thank you for doing that research.
You're so welcome, but I'll have to give that credit to Ms. Frazier. she is the one who collected all of those policies and shared them with us. Thank you.
Thank you. I know we're sitting on the lunch hour for many of us, so just want to make sure we've heard from Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Scott Barnes, Commissioner Haynes, Commissioner Hughes, Commissioner Steele. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Nothing to add, but to reiterate, I would love to see in any policies and processes that we are recommending, definitely, you all know how I feel about community engagement, and to ask the users of that park their interests. As Commissioner Haynes has indicated, we've not really received representative input regarding this process. And so as a part of the request that's before us, as well as any future requests, to definitely engage the community in that, because again, they are the ones that experience it. As it relates to limiting the number of requests, things happen, cities ebb and flows, situations ebb and flow. And so I know looking at our policy may open the floodgates. I'm not sure how I feel about limiting the requests that come before us. We don't limit any other requests that come before us. And so that's consideration there. Understand, again, picking on Commissioner Haynes from our last meeting, he said, you know, we didn't sign up to be just looking at name changes every meeting, but we don't limit any other processes and policies that we undertake. So just a thought there. And then this name for individuals living or deceased. I go back to your example, Commissioner Gentry. I would say for my recommendation would be for those that are not living. If we continue with individuals, naming for individuals as opposed to geography. And that's all as far as what I noted in the policies that I was interested in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I really do commend you all and appreciate the review and the feedback using and leveraging the policies that have been shared with us. So we'll have to get to a point though where we're making motions and making recommendations, right? So we'll have to bring something forward. So I am not a fan of dragging processes out, but I agree that what we decide here, I want us to be comfortable enough with it that we're not having this discussion again the next time a request comes. And so, you know, I just want to just repeat a little bit of what I said before, and I think what Commissioner Steele has just alluded to. Things happen, right? And so we're just right now in a place in the global society where we have an opportunity to address some pains, to address some maybe ill-fitting matches when it comes to some of our namings and some of the honors that have been bestowed, whether that's through the naming of a park, through the placing of a statue. This is a global wave that is taking place. If not globally, definitely a wave that's taking place across this country. And you know, I had the opportunity to listen to be a part of a symposium that was the Kelly Miller Smith Senior Symposium. It was sponsored by Vanderbilt University. For Kelly Miller Smith Senior is the individual for whom their divinity school is named. And I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but in their interview with Andrew Young, he shared that Kelly Miller Smith Sr. made a comment about Nashville being the Athens of the South, and that with just like the city in Greece after which it was named, it had a lot to be proud of and a lot of things that could have gone better. And so, you know, that's part of our history here in this city, part of the history of our country. And again, I think we're talking about a request that has come to us from a place of concern, and for many from a place of pain. So I appreciate our willingness to come to the table to discuss how we position ourselves, and, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent as far the attention, we owe it the time, we owe it the deliberation, we owe it the transparent discussion of how we move forward. So, yes.
I had my raise. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You came in and out, and then my hand was raised.
Okay.
I'd like to say one thing when you're ready.
Sure. So I just want to say, again, just remind us that at some point we have to formalize some recommendations. I think that, you know, some of these may conflict. I think that they can all stand individually. And so maybe, now we'll say Chair Steele, I will ask if after Commissioner Anderson speaks, I will make a recommendation of how we move forward. Commissioner Anderson?
I was going to make a recommendation as well. And what I would like to see is if you, Sharon, and Jeff and Macy will take a first run at redlining the current policy. Just you, Jeff, and Macy, because all of us can't do it. I mean, we'll never get anywhere. And at least we can just redline a lot of the comments that have been made, and then we can see those changes in writing.
Sure.
It takes it a deeper level, and then we can really make more suggestions. I mean, more specific suggestions. So it might be another meeting or two, but I think I would ask if you and Jeff would be willing to do that. Macy, it'll streamline it, and we can give you our input as well, and we can all have redline with at least we can not just talk globally about it.
Sure. And I definitely appreciate that.
George, are you mad at Sharon and me?
No, he trusts you and I. He trusts you and I to do this well with the support of Macy, obviously. He trusts us to do this well. And so I would concur, Commissioner Anderson, is going to be part of my recommendation that we, and as I mentioned before, I've served as parliamentarian for several organizations. And what we normally do is we create a document that shows current language, recommended modified language, and we can then make a vote on the individual changes versus making a change on a vote on the policy as a whole. I think that we will definitely need to work to ensure that we have a full complement of our board to be a part of this discussion, because we want to be able to move forward with a policy that we don't have any ad hoc conversation about afterwards. And so that we have a policy, we get the changes made, we get them in committee, approve them, make the recommendations, bring them to the full board, and then the community will know how to move forward with any actions on that part. Commissioner Odom, I see your hand is up.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking Michelle Stiff. I apologize.
I just wanted to recommend to you all, as you move forward with a draft, that in the community engagement piece, I certainly absolutely support that. And given that parks are community assets, that we open that up to the entire community and not limited to the community just surrounding the particular location that we're talking about. And so in that case, it would look very much like what we do, public notifications of public hearings or requests for public input, either by U.S. mail, email, or telephone, that we just not limit that to a restricted area. For your consideration. Thanks.
Sharon, this is Jeff real quickly. And I'm happy to serve with Sharon and Macy. I think if this is going to be productive, we probably need Monique or one of her senior staff members to work with us regarding all these issues, for us to come up with a first draft white paper that is meaningful, that we can take action on.
I'll be happy to participate. Thank you.
I didn't mean to exclude you, Monique.
I know you didn't.
Very good, very good. So, okay, if you all don't mind, I will take a first pass at incorporating some of the ideas that I've documented that members of the board have shared that they've reviewed from other cities' policies. I know we have a couple that will appear in conflict, so that's why I want to do them as separate recommendations and not just present a policy to be adopted on changes and then adopting those. So I'll take a first pass at pulling in the recommended changes and creating a document that we can, again, look at them individually and then work with Ms. Frazier to get a notice out for the next time we will convene. Is that fair?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a quick question, and I think I probably know the answer. We will have to do this. Are we able to share the policy drafts by email, or are we only going to be able to look at them together because of sunshine?
the documentation, if I'm not mistaken, the documentation we can share via email. It's definitely subject to anyone requesting a copy of it, but the draft of the policy, of the recommendations can definitely be shared via email. Yeah, so we just can't talk about them outside of a public meeting.
Okay, so there won't be a place where we say I accept or I agree or disagree. We won't be able to do that by email. We'll have our deliberation as, yeah, okay.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. I figured. I just had an idea, but it won't work.
I know. I love that idea, but it won't work. Okay. Anything else? Any other thoughts or recommendations? Any other nuggets from the other policies that someone would like to throw out for consideration for inclusion in ours? Name up again.
Sharon, let me ask you something. So just kind of reiterate the process, because you're going to look at it, you're going to get with Jeff, and the four of y'all are going to get together or not, and then you're going to, help make sure we understand this.
Yeah, so I will pull together a document for the four of us to look at, trying to consolidate everything that I've heard. That way, then when we get together, if I've missed anything, and we can then have a document, agree among the four of us, a document that we can then present back to the committee of the whole, okay, to then vote on those individual changes to then recommend in an official board meeting.
Okay. Sounds good.
Commissioner Hughes, is your hand up again?
Yes, I do have a question regarding, we have a board meeting next Thursday and next Tuesday, sorry. Will there be anything on the agenda relating to either the name change request or the policy committee, or will we would just be silent on this particular subject for this next meeting?
So remember, this subcommittee, this has already recommended removal of item L, right? So this would just allow us to actually entertain requests, but we still need work to do on how to, because our policy doesn't speak to how we handle the request, which is the work we're doing now.
Right. So we have a request that we have sort of put on hold. And I guess my question is, are we going to have a discussion about that request before we're finished with this policy rewrite? Or so will a request come before the board, or will and I assume the naming committee will not meet until after the policy. I'm just wondering how we're handling this with Councilwoman Hurt, and if what her expectations are, and I don't know what to expect.
And Commissioner Still, please correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I think our policy as it sits today doesn't speak to changing the names, right? Yeah. So the only thing we can do in the next time we convene is to remove item L that says we'll accept name changes, requests for name changes. But then it stops right there, because the work still needs to be done on, well, what do we do with them, right?
Right. So there will be no discussion next week at the board meeting. And
I don't know that we can discuss it because we don't have a process. And Commissioner Steele, if you'd like to add something to that.
It is my understanding we will not be discussing this at the next meeting. Okay. Because we're still in this process.
Okay.
If I might, Madam Chair.
Sure.
It is my understanding from your meeting last week that this committee made a recommendation to suspend the naming policy, and you will make that recommendation to the full board at your next Parks Board meeting for vote.
Yeah, but the entire policy, item L, that no park.
Just item L.
Just item L. It says no park's name may ever be changed. So we're suspending that part, but now we got to figure out, then how do we do that?
So we still can't vote.
Yeah, so still not on that specific request.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, Director Odom, the suspension of item L can be on the agenda.
Thank you.
There was a recommendation from this board.
Thank you.
Any
Sharon,
other?
Yes, Sharon, this is Jeff. One other quick task for Monique, if she wouldn't mind. I think it would be helpful if she could reach out to 2, at most 3 of her compatriots around the country and discussed lessons learned from controversial renaming processes. And if they were to redo their naming policy, what did they learn? I don't want to just accept the work of Sharon, Jeff, Macy, and Monique. Let's try to learn from the mistakes of other smart people around the country who have gone through this.
And don't be surprised if you learn, Director Odom, that their current policies probably a reflection of those lessons. Dates on those policies. We check the dates on those policies.
Will do. Thank you.
Anything else? Commissioner Hughes, your hand is still up.
I'm good.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Anderson, did you get your question answered? Share what you need to share. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. So just to be clear, we've already received several comments and things to consider, including in our current policy based on board members' review of the policies shared by Director Odom and compiled by Ms. Frazier. Commissioner Haynes, Director Odom, Attorney Amos, and Commissioner Gentry will get together and review at least the presentation of those modifications or recommended changes to the policy. And then we will be prepared to present that to the full board so that we can take action on any requests that come in the future. Any other thoughts?
Do you need a motion for the process that we've just laid out?
Say again?
Do you need a motion for the process that we just laid out?
I don't believe so. And that's just what we're going to do, unless you believe it's necessary.
You do not need a motion.
Yeah, it's just work. Yeah,
I was offering to make one if you felt like you needed it.
we don't need it. It's just the work of the committee. So be there no further business, I will recommend we adjourn. Thank you all for your time this afternoon. And nobody volunteered to bring lunch.